Hey everyone, this is going to be a very different video even on this channel because it's not a video that I thought I was going to make. A lot of you know that I was planning on making a sort of Goodwood Festival of Speed type event for the US, and we called it Wrenchwerx, and it was going to be in December in Circuit, Florida, which is in Auburndale. It's like Central Florida, and we're going to have a lot of influencers. We're going to have track focused cars. We're going to have a lot of fun, and I say the word we were going to do that because unfortunately I have to cancel the event, and there are several reasons for that, and before I go into any of that, I just want to apologize to every single one of you. I know that there's a lot of people that were rooting for this to happen, and a lot of people did buy tickets. So rest assured, every single one of you will get a refund. We'll get a full refund, and I want to make it right for everybody. So I'm going to go into that a little bit later, but rest assured, if you did buy a ticket, no matter what tier, you should get a refund in full by the 22nd of this month, if not sooner. So we're just working out everything with the vendors and making sure that everybody's bank accounts get everything at the same time. So rest assured, that's all going to happen. Now, the reason why this event didn't take place is, number one, making events and putting them on is very difficult, and this was our first time doing it, but we tried to have the best event possible in terms of like experience for the person coming to the event. So in Circuit, Florida, it was awesome. It's an awesome venue, and I still do appreciate them as partners. They're really cool people. They were cool with anything we wanted to do. The only issue is we were planning on having 20,000 people there over a 3-day event, and they didn't have the space for it. Now, it's not their fault. That's fine. They didn't have the space for that kind of public in terms of parking. So parking, obviously, with any event is a really, really big problem. So we scrambled to find a parking lot anywhere, and we were looking at people's fields that we can rent. We were looking at warehouses, and we actually found a solution that sort of worked. So there was a field that was right next to Circuit, Florida, and it was a few acres, and it was like farmland, and we were like, cool, this is awesome. We can park as many cars as we want on here, and in order to get to the event, there was like a little bit of like wetland, and I thought, okay, well, just like they do in Goodwood Festival of Speed, we can just put like a temporary bridge, or we can mow it, or something. It was basically like 100 yards to get from the parking lot to the actual event. And then I talked to the powers that be, and people in the state said, you can't do anything on that piece of land because it is protected wetland. So what protected wetland means, in essence, is that you can't do anything. It's protected by the state or by the federal government, even though there's 8 lanes of I-4 right next to it, like 100 yards away. So it is what it is. So we decided that, okay, even though we have the field, we have to get a way for people to get from the field to the venue. And one way is to walk, and we actually mapped that out. And to get from the field to the venue, even though it's right next door, they'd have to go the long way, and it's 1.5 miles. And I didn't want to ask thousands of people to walk 1.5 miles, especially in Florida. Maybe it's going to be hot. Maybe there's going to be rain. I don't want anybody to have a bad time. So we're like, okay, so let's do buses. So we looked at chartering buses, whether it's school buses or like coach buses, and we found out that we can get the amount of buses that we need to ferry people back and forth. But then that presented the next problem, which is in order to get to the parking lot, there was a 2-lane road, a very small 2-lane road. And if you have 500 cars in either direction, that creates a really bad traffic block. And when you add buses to the mix that need to get people to the event, and then you have pedestrians, and then you have people maybe not knowing where they're supposed to go, and then it just becomes a really, really big mess. Now, we had law enforcement on board, we had traffic management, all that stuff, but this is also a very small town. They've never had an event like this, especially not in this space with that many people in it. So my main concern was that people have a good time. It was this event was organized with me and 4 other people, 4 of these people that I trust with this kind of stuff, and they know what they're doing. But we ran into this issue, and it's just not something that I feel good about, because if I was at the event with all of the other automotive influencers and personalities, what we're doing is we are laser focused on providing the best value for people inside the event. I have no idea what's happening outside the event. And what I didn't want to happen is that we say, all right, we kicked butt and the event was awesome, and then at the end of the day, I realized that a few thousand people couldn't make it into the event because they were stuck in line for 3 hours. I don't want people to pay for an experience and then they fly themselves and their family out and they have the worst day of their lives because they want to, they want to support me or some other creator. I also don't want it to reflect poorly on other creators. These are all my friends. They're literally, doing it as a favor to me. Every single creator that, we got on board was somebody that I went to personally and I said, hey, would you like to do something fun? And they said yes. And it's only because we've had good relationships that we can do this. And I didn't want anything to reflect poorly on them, and I certainly didn't want anybody to have a bad time. And considering this is a 3-day event, imagine somebody, comes up on Friday and then, has to stay in line for 2 or 3 hours, or something happens. I don't know, their bumper gets scraped off in the field trying to get, because they're bringing a lowered car or something. And there's 2 more days of this. Like, this is not something that we could solve. There were other fields that we can use, but they presented the exact same problems. We also had some warehouses next door, which would have obviously solved the problem, because these are actual parking spaces, and the warehouses, they were like Amazon warehouses right next door to the venue. They didn't have any tenants. Like, these were completely empty. So what I thought was, like, we could just talk to the owners of these warehouses and we could strike a deal. We'll say, hey, we have police, we have insurance, we have everything. And they didn't want anything to do with it. They basically told me to take it up with the state, because the state was renting the land from them. And they said, take it up with your governor. So I have some friends that do know the governor, and we tried to go through some means there, but that ultimately didn't end up going anywhere, because right now, I mean, everybody was laser focused on the election, and we couldn't get anything done. And even if we could, the stipulations of their contract, like the government contract with those warehouses, just said they couldn't rent it out to anybody. So it was a moot point anyway. So I have lost sleep over this. I have spent a lot of time going back and forth whether or not we have the event in a different location, or we have the event at a different time, or we figure something out, maybe make the event smaller. And none of it worked, because it diminished the scope and scale of this. It diminished the promise that I gave to people, and unfortunately we just have to cancel the event. I mean, if I have an event in the future, then I'll certainly let you guys know, and we won't have any of these issues in the future. But I just want to make sure that everybody that's paid for a ticket gets refunded immediately. But also, I do know that a lot of people aren't local that paid for a ticket. So if you have already planned to come to Florida, then it's not wasted. You still will get a full refund. But if you've planned to come to Florida, then send me your itinerary. Send me a receipt that you actually paid for this, and you have like a hotel room booked, or something. Send it to me via my email, asktavarish@gmail.com, and we're gonna put on a little open house right here at my shop. So it's gonna be Saturday, the December the 7th. And it's not only going to be me, but Mike Brewer from Wheeler Dealers is also coming here, and we're just going to hang out. And it'll be an interesting, call it a consolation, make good, I'm sorry prize to you guys. Let me know if any of you have planned to come out here, and then you've spent money and to fly out. And I I'm incredibly sorry. I apologize to everybody, and it's never anything that I wanted to do, but I think this is the best outcome, and I hope that you can trust me in the future. But I had to make the best decision that I thought for everybody involved. So yeah, I'm sorry. So I don't want to leave it on a somber note there. We are going to have a lot more content. We are going to have some merch drops and giveaways and stuff like that. That's going to be coming up in the next month. We are planning on doing that, but this did, I'm not going to lie, this left a sour taste in my mouth. Like, this is, I really wanted this to happen. We worked for over a year, and this is me and 4 other guys, and 2 of the guys are from the UK. We worked for over a year doing this. So unfortunately, this just happens. I'm sorry if I'm rambling. This is very off the cuff. So I hope you guys tune in later when we'll have content that is about cars and not about canceling events. But I appreciate you more than words can say. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching and sharing and everything. And again, I apologize. So all right, bye.